Sunshine. Welcome to Conversations with Celena, the podcast where we discover inspiration, motivation, and information to help you live your best life. I'm your host, Celena, aka Sunshine, and each week we'll dive into conversations with guests who share their testimonies, insights, and advice. We'll explore topics that uplift, encourage, and empower you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So tune in and let's have some fun while we explore all that life has to offer. Keep it smiling, sunshine, and let's go. Hey, sunshine. Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Celena. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much for your continued love and support. I got a couple announcements before we get started with tonight's episode. If you were here this morning, you already know what I'm about to say. This month is not only Aries month, birthday month, but it is Conversation with Celena, 6 years. Cheers to 6 years for Conversation with Celena. And we're going to have an intimate celebration in New Orleans, April 25th. And so you can go register at selenathomas.net if you would like to join. Let's see, if you want to be a sponsor, we got some sponsors already. If you want to join the sponsor list, we have the Taste of Juanita Seasoning, Queen E's Jam, Apex Counseling, LP Dillon Designs, The Blood Blocked It, TL Media, and 4C and Company. So you'll get a shout out here live. You will also be on the cards that we print out for the actual brunch and just many more things that we want to continue to work together and collaborate. So don't hesitate to join the Conversations with Celena community and club because we will welcome you in with open arms and love. I'm excited, y'all. I'm already planning 2027. We're not even through with 2026 yet, and I'm already planning 2027. But that's good for me because I'm that last minute, let's do it kind of girl. But we are already in the plans for 2027. You listen, tonight's guest. I've been trying to get her for a minute, y'all. So just know this grin on my face is because I've been trying to get this beautiful young lady to come have a conversation with Sunshine. And she said yes, and she is here tonight. And I'm so excited to introduce her. Her name is Nakia Williamson. She is a nurse, author, and creative visionary whose work sit at the intersection of faith, healing, and personal transformation. As a mother of two and a woman shaped by profound loss, she uses her voice to speak honestly about grief, identity, and the journey of becoming. I love that. I use that word all the time because we are all becoming, hopefully the best version of ourselves, because some of us may be becoming something else. But let me get back to her bio. She is the author of Grief Didn't Knock, a memoir of loss, faith, and becoming, where she shares her lived experiences of losing her parents, navigating motherhood, rebuilding her marriage, and rediscovering herself through faith. Beyond healthcare, Nakia is a dance instructor and founder of a Christian-based movement experience designed to help women release, reconnect, and heal through dance and worship. Her mission is simple but powerful: to create safe spaces where people feel seen, supported, and reminded that even in life's most difficult seasons, purpose is still being formed. I want you all to give a warm welcome to the beautiful Miss Nakia Carter Williamson.
Yay! Hey, Sunshine!
Woo!
Oh, Sunshine!
Yes, girl.
Oh my goodness, girl! I ain't got no tissue. I wasn't supposed to start crying until we got about 15 minutes in.
Yes.
That bio did I write that? I ain't never heard anybody talk about me like that.
Yes, indeed.
Oh my God. Oh man.
Halo is beautiful, and I know what you're about
Oh
to
my
say
gosh.
is powerful. So I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. Well, let me get myself together because I know we here to talk, but thank you first of all for that introduction. That was so good. I was just sitting here like, you really have asked me for months to come on the show. And I really think God is strategic with his timing, because I texted you back months later and I was like, I feel like God is telling me to wait. And I was like, I want to do it. You was like, send me your bio. I want to wait. We're in April now. This had to be like 6-7 months ago. And I texted you back and I was like, Sunshine, I think I'm ready. I said, I got something to say. And I was in the process of finishing the book then, but nobody knew. So finally, when we met up and I had whispered to you at Jaleesa's thing, I said divine timing, because I had more to add in those 6-7 months. And I think God wanted me to share this testimony and share this book. So he just kept saying, no. Just wait. She'll be back around. I'm gonna send the invitation back around. And when it came back, I said, time to go.
Time to go.
Time to go. So thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me here.
Yes. So you put things on Facebook that it just is so thought provoking, and you could tell it's straight from your heart. And that's the reason why I reached out. And I could tell just from the post that you had something to say.
Oh, yes, I have a lot to say. 120 pages worth of stuff to say, 27,000 words to write. So I talk, girl. I can talk.
Well, at least in the middle of the tears, you have laughter and you have smiles and you have healing to share for other people who have experienced grief. And, we try to compare. Well, this one is not as bad as her. And I just hate when people do that, because grief is grief. Loss is loss. Trauma is trauma. It's just going to be different from everyone. Now, I'm getting some feedback. Can you hear that?
I hear you fine.
Oh. So no one's put it in the comments. Maybe it's just me. So anyway, I'm going to put myself on mute. I'm going to allow you to share how you decided to write this book. I know you said you had something to say and no one knew about the book, and sometimes you do have to move in silence. So tell us about the pulling and the tugging on your heart to write the book, and why you needed to be, why you did that. And I'm putting myself so there's no echo. And if anyone hear it, please let me know.
I sure will. So how this all came to be. And it's funny in the beginning, and then it's going to get serious. So about 2 years ago, I was telling my husband, like, yeah, I think I want to write a book. But it had nothing to do with grief. It had nothing to do with a memoir of my life. I basically was identifying myself in that time with dance, which we'll talk about in the book. And it was going to be called like 5, 6, 7, 8. How do you choreograph the steps of your life? Which would have been a dope idea. It would have been a dope book. And if anybody wants to steal it, go ahead. But I don't know. I just think I was just like playing around, and I was like, oh, well, I don't want to do that. So life happened. And fast forward, I went to one of my friend Davlin's, her best friend, Cree, had an event in December for women. It was a girls' night out. I'll never forget. It was December 13th. And it was prophesied to me that I wasn't supposed to be here, meaning I should have been dead last year. Like the devil had plans. He was going to take me out. Like, I get chills talking about it, but I'm really big on faith, and I do believe in prophecy, and I do have a prophetic gift myself. So when I was told that, I knew that confirmation was the truth. So fast forward, there was a message after that said, it's now your season, you must walk in. And I just kept feeling the Holy Spirit telling me, like, this is it. Like, you have got to share your story, your testimony on how God has been. And I'm asking myself as I'm weeping, how do I do that? Like, nobody's gonna want to listen to me, and like, I'm so isolated. Like, I don't have that many friends, and my story's not big enough. I'm only in Picayune. Like, who can I help? And then all of a sudden, it's like the Holy Spirit downloaded the title of the book right then and there, and He was like, "Go forth and write." Like, I heard it clear as day. Write the book. So from December 13th until about a week and a half ago, I just wrote every day, piecing this together, taking old journals that I had from the last 2 years, and I just did it. Like, I prayed, and obedience is better than sacrifice. And I feel like God was telling me, you have to do this. And I'm thinking, this is too much, and I don't feel like typing all this. And I don't have no experience, and I haven't been in English class in forever. And I just took English Cop 1 and 2 and passed it with a C, but I passed it. And it helped me with the book. It helped me piece it together and like understand like sentences and like how to coordinate your thoughts and how to do cohesive flow. So yeah, long story short, it was the obedience that I had to do, like in that moment on that 13th of December.
Wow. And a lot of people struggle with that, and your obedience, I believe, started before December 13th because you had those journals to reference.
Yes, I did. I mean, I bought like a bunch of journals and just rip pages out. Sometimes I would see thoughts I wrote and it wasn't even a clear thought, or I would have scriptures, or it'll be like, you remember Moesha in the 90s where she was like, Dear Diary, and it was just have like this playback. That's kind of how I felt. Like I was just writing to nobody, but I was really writing to God. And, He was hearing these thoughts and He was reminding me of these things. And when I went back and looked at it, I was like, this is good. I'm like, even though it's sad sometimes, or this is painful, or this is funny, or this is, tea, because I got some tea in this book too. It was my words. It was my truth. And I've always been a person, I'm not going to talk to you and tell you nothing that's a lie. Like I can only be myself and be authentic. So these words and these books that have transpired to this book that I wrote is 100% authentic. Like I did not hold anything back. Not a thing. Not a thing.
Nakia, try to move your phone up a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Try to move. Let's see. Lean your phone up a little bit.
Like here?
Okay, let's see. Okay, I think that fixed it. I don't hear it anymore. I don't know
What
how
did you hear?
People know what to do, but I don't hear the feedback when you leaned your phone up a little bit.
Okay.
But it was when I talked. But they'll have to explain to me what that was. I'm not sure. But
okay, see, I can't see comments and stuff. So did anybody hear me? Like, are we on live still?
We're still on live. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I need to repeat that, or did everybody caught it?
Everybody caught it. We heard you. Okay. There was a little bit of feedback, but we got it.
Okay. They ain't nobody but the devil, because I was talking good stuff.
You was talking good stuff, girl. Okay, so she said she can hear good. Awesome.
I was good. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, you could leave the light on too, so we can see your beautiful face.
I know, because y'all see my hair. Y'all see this curl. I love it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sorry. We were joking about that before. Moving on, we was joking about that when we first did the test runs, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so okay, so I was distracted by some of the feedback, but I was just really saying about your journaling, and you said that, you know, God used all of those pieces and parts to put it together, and he will take those dark places and those hard moments and turn it into something so beautiful. Like you wouldn't have never
Count it
thought
all
that you
joy.
would be here talking
Count it all
about it,
joy.
you know, because at some point you try to talk about it and you don't do anything but boo-hoo, snot, and cry. But then you can talk about it with a joy in your heart, knowing that I made it through. I made it through some of the darkest times of my life when I didn't think I was going to see the next day. You know, how they say, weeping man endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Baby, it seemed like morning. It's like, where's morning? Morning not coming.
Where is it? Morning got lost to me. I don't think morning came for about 10, 12, 13 years. But yeah.
Look, I understand. I feel like my morning took more like, I don't know. I ain't gonna say that, Lord, because we've been
it's here. It's here.
Mornings, but baby, I have seemed like some dark days too.
It's here.
It's here. It's here. So so tell us a little bit about the book. Tell us a little bit about the book.
I was waiting on that question because I was trying to see how to tell you without telling too much. So pretty much, I'm gonna kind of walk you through.
Much, but give us just enough.
No, I'm gonna give you a little tea. So
it's gonna be released on your birthday, right? That's the only thing I know about it.
Yes. So yes, only thing I have told is that it is coming out next Saturday, April 11th. Of course, I'm going to explain why that date meant so much to me. You know, where did that come from? So starting with the date, of course, the day I was born, I'll be 35. And I just felt like it was time for me to reflect back on not all 35 years. So the book starts when I'm about 15, freshman year of high school. So I give you 20 years in 18 chapters. So I'll tell you that. I'm 15 when it starts, and I'm 34 and some change now because I'll be 35 in a week. So it stops right at year 34. But anyway, so yeah, I chose my birthday because that's the day I'm like, you know what? I've hit full circle 35 times, and I'm still blessed to even share this story when some people would have been taking themselves out, to be honest. You know, like when you read some of this stuff, I know my readers are going to be like, how did she get up the next morning? How did she not lose her mind or go into a psych ward or, you know, have a nervous breakdown, which there's a piece of that in there, but it's a long way in the book. It's not at the very beginning because once again, I'm 15 when it starts. But so I talk about high school, you know, where grief first started. And it actually started with me not making a dance team. And that's when I kind of realized rejection. That's when I realized I was seeking validation from a piece of paper or a decision that another person made based off of my talent. And I knew I was talented. But, you know, we all have days where we don't have a good performance, or you may play basketball and you don't make the winning jump shot. It doesn't mean you're not a good basketball player, or you don't make the team the following year, but you have to stay on your game. And at that time, I was 15, 16. Can I say this? I was hot, spell hot, and take off the T.
Girl,
you want real? I'm not gonna sit and play this game like I was so perfect for 35 years. No, I wasn't. So so you spell that out, and I was doing some of those things, a lot of these things, and I look back and say I can't believe I graduated because I was studying school, but I was studying boarding school. So I got a little scholarship to go. I got a scholarship to go to school, community college, because I could have went to USM. My daughter right now is 10 years old. She's talking about going to Ivy League. She's super smart. I know where she get it from, but her mama wasn't focused at that time. She didn't want to do all that. But anyways, so I take you through that episode and going to college, and of course, meet my first heartbreak. You know how that made me feel. I'm grieving this. I'm looking for independence. Of course, I'm going to be discussing what happens after that. which is turning 21. And, seeking relationship. I'm meeting my now business partner. I'm in the studio. So I can't tell y'all the book because it's so good, but I'm gonna try to sum this up. So pretty much I'm taking you through all these chapters, and each chapter there's a hit. And then it transitions into the next hit. How does she deal with pregnancy that wasn't planned at 23? I even walk you through the hospital. Who was there? The baby daddy or not the baby daddy? Who was the father? Who wasn't the... Y'all, if you never knew my business, you're about to know it. You're about to know it, but in the most respectful and honorable way, because no, I am not name dropping. No, I do not shade anybody in this story. This is my personal story, my testimony of what God brought me through, and I'm showing you realness. So I want my readers to know, dang, I went through something like that, or I'm not alone. And I also have pieces in the book where I'm talking to you directly as the reader, and I'm telling you how to find support groups. This is what you can do in a time like this. How do you seek comfort? So, and there's reflection questions in the book. I can't tell you all that, but each chapter at the end, you have to self-reflect on what I just told you and how it relates to yourself, if that makes sense.
It does. It does.
It's
Absolutely.
deep, Sunshine. It's deep. It's deep, girl.
Oh, I know
it. It is deep. It is deep.
Like,
it took me 4 months to write this, but it took God. He's an author, because I saw a quote that said, the devil is not the author of your story. He no longer has the pen. Because when you read this, it is so dark in some places. It is so heavy. It is so sad. Of course, you hear grief. Yes, I do talk about death. There's no disclaimer. I talk about death of my mom, the death of my father, and the death of my grandmother. So those are the heaviest chapters. Well, no, actually, every chapter is pretty heavy, but those were the most gut-wrenching. Like I had to stop and put the laptop down so many times I couldn't type it. I would have dreams. Like I would tell my husband, how can I get through writing this book? I have a deadline. I like April 11th is no goal. And he's telling me like, you're just going through the motions. You have to relive it. And I'm like, I don't want to relive this. Like a part of me wanted to just delete the whole thing. But I'm like, I can't, because this is a big piece and a turning point in the story of how my behavior shifted after these losses. So I had to just keep typing, but I would edit it. I would say, I don't want to say this. I don't want to put that, but no, I need to put this because they need to know about the fight. Like it was so hard to write those chapters. And that just came from just not remembering certain things about those days. Because when somebody dies, you go through grief in 5 stages. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But just to sum up the chapter process, there's 18 chapters. And I will tell you something cute. Each chapter is a song title from a female artist or group that inspired me while I was going through.
I don't know what happened.
I think I got hacked with my hand. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
That was my fault. I pressed something.
Because let me know when back on. To blame the devil.
I know. He don't want me to talk, but you can put me back on and just tell me when to start back. I'm so sorry.
No, we back on.
Okay, so what I was saying was each chapter in the table of contents, you'll find each chapter is a song title from either a female artist or a female group. And the reason why I wanted to do that was I was having fun trying to figure out how to name this. And I realized during that era, those 20 years, who inspired me? What was the music I listened to at the time? What artist spoke to me? So each chapter has a story behind it, like for instance, I'll give you one. I think chapter 10 is Dreaming of You. That is a song by Celena. And if anybody knows me, that is one of my all-time favorite movies. I don't know a lick of Spanish, but I loved her. She's an April girl like us, April 16th. And I am a diehard Celena fan, but that song title, Dreaming of You, goes into a dream that I had when my mother visited me. So you kind of see, you see how it's a play on words. So there's another chapter, I'll just say, Moment for Life. It's a Nicki Minaj song, but that signifies my graduation in nursing school and how I got there. So these titles are very, very smart and very, very thought out. So I will give you that little piece of reveal.
So how old were you whenever you lost your dad, your mom? Like, were they there when you graduated high school, when you graduated nursing school? Like, how, without telling too much, I know you probably have this stuff in the book, but did they miss out on those special days?
So I don't really talk about my age. I don't really put the years because I want the reader to just follow the story. But I will tell you, I lost my father at 21, March 24th. So my 22nd birthday was like 11, 12, 13 days later, like 2 weeks later. So it was right between 21 and 22. So yes, he did see me graduate high school. He did see me finish college the first time. He moved me in my dorm. He was always supportive when it came to that. And then unfortunately he passed. And like I said, I will talk about that in chapter 3 of the book. My mom passed away 7 years later in 2020 around COVID. And my grandmother died 10 weeks later. So they were simultaneously back to back.
Oh my goodness.
So that is the hit of the book, is that the 10-week loss that I had, buried my mom, was in school, and then turned around and buried my grandmother and was still in school. So yeah, my mom, like I said, she was there. She met my daughter, of course. She was 5 when my daughter died. So I talk about parenting through grief. A lot of people don't talk about kids and their feelings, and how do you tell a child your grandmother's not coming back? How do you explain to a child you were just with her the night before, but she decided to go sleep with Jesus? Like, I talk about that. I talk about every step that I made and every piece of prayer, and how I taught my daughter how to grieve and how I had to be strong for her. So no, my dad never met my children. He passed before I had my child. But I there is a part in the book where I do mention that I think when each time my parents passed, well, when both my parents passed, I was always pregnant a year and a half later. So my 2 children came right after the year of death anniversary. So, and I can't tell you exactly what I think of that because it's in the book, but I'm just giving you a heads up that I feel that they sent me my children exactly how they are. Their personalities, my children are named after my dad. Well, initial wise, Ray Lee, my dad is Robert Lee. So that's where we got Ray Lee from. And we changed the spelling from Lee to Leigh. And we literally came up with her name, her godmothers and I, at a restaurant on a napkin. Like, we just wrote her name on this napkin. And we had
having on them napkins in a restaurant.
I kid you not. I don't know if Misty Griffin's online, but I know she was there and she can attest to this story. But yes, we came up with my child's name. This is not in the book. This is just a little piece of advice. But that's how she got her name. So I wanted to honor my dad in that way. It's not in the book. I kind of hate I didn't put it in there, but it was just a cute little moment. I can't tell every single thing I want, but I'll tell you this personally. So my son is Rain Carter, and my maiden name, of course, is Carter, which is my dad's name. And my daughter was adamant that he had to have his bloodline. Like, it had to be a Carter somewhere in there. So his name is Rain Carter Williamson. And Rain came from my daughter and my mother-in-law. And I really think it fits him because he rules the house. So He's a ruler. So that is the way that I honored my dad, was my children's names. And then, like I said, my mom was Tina. My daughter's middle name is Christina, which is my husband now, which I didn't know this then. My husband and my mom's name together. So I always felt like my children were meant to be, if that makes sense.
It definitely does, especially the timing. So Vanessa, let me put Vanessa's comment back up here. Vanessa said, "This is so powerful, so happy and proud."
I see it. My sister, my other sister.
And Gwen says, "So proud of you, Nakia Williamson."
Aww. My cousin, who's like my sister. Which I do talk about family and family grief in the book as well. Not in a bad way, Gwen, but no, I do mention my family as well. Like I said, it's 18 chapters, so there's different categories that I had to hit in the book. But I thank y'all for y'all's comments.
Girl, you should have bought some Kleenex, because you're going to have me over.
We ain't even got to that yet. I'm just giving you a little base, little cute version. We ain't got to. You ask for some raw stuff, we gonna get there.
Girl, I don't know how much raw we can get, because you trying not to spoil the book. So
I may have to spoil a little bit, but keep going.
You share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. This is a place where, I have the platform for people to come and be as vulnerable as they are able to be, because this comes in phases. Like, some people can just come and blurt it all out, but I feel like they've also went through their process, maybe off camera. For me, my process feels like it's been on camera. Because once I decided to talk, it feels like I haven't really shut up. I haven't disclosed everything, like you were talking about, not name dropping. And sometimes you don't even have to drop names. Their identity tells on itself. You know what I mean?
Trust me, when y'all read the book, like I said, if you were around in my teenage years, mainly, you know the guy I'm talking about. I mean, his mom and I are still cool. Like, it's no beef. It was a part of my history. I had to talk about it. My husband, of course, I approved it with him first. I was like, out of respect, are you comfortable with me talking about this? And he was like, yeah. Like, of course, he knew everything before the world knew, because that's just, I'm not going to put something out there and then it's like, why you tell me that? We don't do that over here. So yes, if anybody was around in those years, they know. And then jumping forward, I have a friend, that I had a business with. I mean, it was well known. It's public knowledge. So it's like, I don't have to name drop either, if not, Google is there too. So I wanted to be respectful of the people that I have relationships with, because grief is not just about, like I said, dying. You can grieve people who are alive. And a lot of this in the story, you will see these people are still alive and well. And I had to go through the process of letting people go. Friends that I no longer have, they're still alive. Friendships that may have ended and then came back around because God restored that. I talk about that. But I don't name drop. You don't have you have one name in here, and the character's name is Marcus, and Marcus is whoever y'all think it is. So I just made up a name because I didn't want to keep typing he or him or them. And I was like, you know what? We're going to just give a name to this person because he's significant. So here we go. I don't know if there's a real Marcus out there. It ain't them. This is a made up name.
Because people will be searching Marcus.
And that's why I did that. And you won't see a Marcus. I don't even think I may have 3 Facebook friends with the name Marcus. And I think one, it doesn't even go by that name. And the other one's married. And then the other one, I think I haven't spoken to in 10 years. So it ain't either one of them.
Yes. So y'all ain't got to go try to be the investigators through Facebook and YouTube and Google trying to find it. It's fictitious.
No. I had to be funny. Like I said, the book is not all sad. There are some really funny moments. There are some like, girl, like you said what? You did what? And there are some moments where I was a little crazy. And that's why I was mentioning the 5 stages of grief. So I'm not a psychologist, but going to therapy over time and just learning the 5 stages are anger, depression, bargaining, shock, and denial. Now, it doesn't have to go in that order from what I've learned, but when I was in therapy, the actual order was supposed to be shock first. Then you go into denial, like you can't believe this is happening. Then you go into anger or rage because it's happening. You start bargaining and you start asking God, well, if you give this back to me, or if you allow me to do this, or I'll quit this job, or I'll give this man up just for life to be better. You start kind of going back and forth with God. And then the last stage, of course, to be acceptance. So I'm in a lot of stages right now with a lot of different things, but there's a 6th stage that they don't teach you in therapy or in psychology. And that 6th stage, of course, is God or healing. And I talk about that 6th stage throughout the entire book, but mainly at the end. So I will reveal that. So I teach y'all another stage of grief because I'm just cool like that. And I got to be different. The books don't tell the books. The psychology books and the college classes don't teach you the last stage. But it should be the first stage. It should be God first before anything else. But I understand psychology and what the brain thinks and how we're warped. But baby, there's a 6th stage. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to get to preaching just yet, but it's a 6th stage. And without that healing in God's stage, I would not be sitting here at all. There were plenty of times, pregnant, not pregnant, depressed. I was just like, God, I'm done. Like, I don't even want to do this no more. Like, I lost my parents before the age of 30. You know, at 30, you think, okay, I haven't bought a house yet. I haven't really had all my children yet. I haven't seen the world yet. You know, we didn't get a chance to do this as a family yet. And I was angry at God about that. I was pissed. And a lot of my anger, and I'm sorry, say it again.
I said, tell the truth, girl, because a lot of people don't want to say it like that, but it's the truth.
No. Well, see, me and God are tight like this. And see, we have a relationship with God. He knows you. He formed you in your mother's womb. He knows who you are. So I'm not going to sit here and lie about nothing. I was pissed off at God. I'm like, how you let this person keep their parents and they smoking, drinking, doing all this other kind of crazy stuff, don't know you, don't give a damn about nothing, and I lost my parents to sickness, you know, and it sounds crazy because everybody's going to get sick. Well, God forgive me, everybody doesn't get sick, but we don't control how we pass away or when. So looking at it from another point of view, from not a carnal point of view, but from a spiritual point of view, yes, we're all going to go. We're all going to expire. But in that moment, when you are 29 and you have already lost one parent, now you're sitting at a funeral again. It's like, really, God? Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't love me enough to keep them here? I couldn't have this life. Like, why did you choose me to be an orphan? Because that's what I felt like. I felt like I was an orphan in this world. No matter how many friends called me, fake ones and real ones. No matter how many people said, "Oh, I'm gonna come check on you," and then 6 months later, don't text me at all. It didn't matter if I had a boyfriend or husband in that season. I always felt I was alone because I didn't have them. Then to lose my grandmother, like I said earlier, 10 weeks later, it's like, God, how much do you really think I'm supposed to take? Mm-hmm. How, like, and then it's COVID. Like, the world was shut down. Like, I didn't even get a chance to properly, and I'm sorry for yelling, but I'm getting triggered a little bit, but I didn't even get a chance to properly bury my mother or my grandmother because of COVID. And I talk about that in the book. Wearing masks and not being in a church, you know, not having the ideal homegoing that people talk about when they will. We didn't have it. I had to bury my mother at the graveside with a tent 6 days after she died because it was so bad. The funeral director said, if you don't bury her right now, we may all have COVID and get sick. Like it was bad that whole week.
Mm-hmm.
The whole week. So I had to basically plan the funeral and get my mom in the ground because of an illness that was going on in the world. I didn't have time. And I talk about how fast that week moved.
Yeah.
I didn't have time. So no, being angry at God, he understands. Was I shocked for a while? Yes. Did I go through depression? That is a big stage. Am I at acceptance? I can honestly say now it's been 5 years since 6 almost, since they passed. And I am in the acceptance stage, but it took a minute. People always say, oh, life goes on and, you got to cry. I hate that. Let me tell you why I hate that. And hate is a strong word. I hate it because how you going to sit there and fix your mouth to say life goes on? No. It does go on technically. But at the same time, God is not telling you to go on and just jump and do all this stuff. He really wants you to sit down and process what's going on. And if you read the book, I know one of y'all gonna say, now why she ain't sit her tail down? I never sat down. For about 17 chapters, I'm gonna tell y'all I did not sit down. And you will see when you read, like, she ain't lying. I didn't want to live it. I didn't want to feel it. I didn't want to deal with it. I just kept running.
Yep.
And running.
And that's what you do a lot of times. Oh, goodness gracious. Listen, she is telling the truth about how you feel whenever you're grieving, whenever you've lost someone. It's just best to show up and be quiet. Just be present for the person and stop coming up with all these canned responses of life goes on and they're in a better place and all of those things. People, they don't want to hear that at the moment. It doesn't help. It actually makes things worse. So, we do have to learn how to be respectful in those times of grief and sit and be still. Sometimes we just want to be so busy, and it's not with just grief. Sometimes it's with trauma. Sometimes it's rejection. We move just so we don't feel. We keep moving and stay busy.
I am getting way too finger happy over here. That was my mistake again. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I just started talking after you went away, just talking about how you are telling the truth about being busy and not sitting still. And it's because we don't want to feel. And it's better to be busy, though, than to be strung out on drugs and all kind of other things.
I was getting to that. Yeah.
At some point you do have to sit still and process it so that you can get to that acceptance stage.
Yeah, I was getting to that. I'm so glad because I was like, shoot, I gotta jump right back in. I was like, oh, I was on the road too. But no, I was saying, yes, God knows the stages. So I had hit all of that. I am at acceptance now with my my mother and father, my grandmother's passing. But it took a while to get there. What I was saying about the running is, yeah, I could have been strung out on drugs. You hear a lot of people say, oh, like I'm in a mental ward, or, you see people walking around crazy, even around here. And then I'll ask somebody one time, I said, what led to this? And I'm going to be honest. And you know what that man told me? I lost my mom. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here thinking like the kid, that could have been you on the side of the road talking to your doggone self. But the Lord saved you. God gave you grace. He kept you in your right mind. Girl, don't get me preaching. I wasn't trying to do that. I wasn't trying to do that. If you don't know God, look, I don't know who all watching. If you don't know God, y'all about to get to know him. Because Holy Spirit tell me something, I got to say it. So one thing about this book, you're going to find Jesus if you've been looking. He in the book. But anyways, what I was saying was I could have been out of my mind. And I look back and I say how merciful and how gracious God was to me, because I could have been doing that. That man told me I lost my mom and I don't know where he's at. This is about maybe 3 years ago. And like I said, I'm not going to name drop, but I remember him from being young, and he wasn't like that. And it's so sad to see people turn to drugs or substance or sex or, you know, any type of sin, you know, cutting themselves. Like, I'm gonna be real, like, no, I have not done these things personally, but in the book, like I said, I talk about being young. Even before I lost people, I was dealing with some stuff I wasn't supposed to be dealing with. And then when I started dealing with the grief and the loss, it amplified it. But like I said, God came and snatched me and was like, and I do talk about that in chapter 4, how I met my friend Marcus and how if it wasn't for him putting me into the position of being a teacher or, you know, building that passion that I had for dance or helping other girls. And that's why I was so big on mentoring young girls, because I knew the road I was going down was so destructive. I was in my 20s. You know, we in our 20s. What did I tell you earlier? We HOT without the T. So if he hadn't came in that season of my life, I can't, he's not God. I'm not going to say that. But God sending that help in that moment, I don't know what I would be doing. So God was like, no, ma'am, you're going to go over here. So when I started becoming more of a positive role model and not out there in the streets, that helped me change. I wasn't totally saved and I wasn't totally into the church and things like that more so now, but I was getting to know God in the midst of my dad passing and not getting to know sex and not trying to go drink and, you know, party and numb all this pain like I had been numbing. So I know what it's like to numb some pain and run away from some stuff. But I also know what it's like to run to Jesus, and maybe running to him is a little bit more easier and a little bit more calmer and safer than running to the world, because the world ain't gonna do nothing but chew you up and spit you out. And I talk about that too. We are not of the world. We are set apart. So God came and snatched me up and was like, I need you to be different. I know you're going through something, but listen to me as I guide you through these things. Don't get me to preach. I'm going to stop right there. Next caller.
Oh, you're doing good. I was on mute.
I'm going to start right there. I'm going to start right there.
No, you keep that coming, because you're talking about how, like, part of your bio, the becoming part. So that's the part that you're focusing on right now. And, you know, that's the amazing part about it, because you're talking about who you used to be, and then you're talking about who you are becoming, who you've become, and who you're still becoming. So that is the beauty. That's when you get the beauty for the ashes. And I'm ready to turn away to one of these ashes that I got going on for my beauty. So bring it on, girl. Testimony. Listen, because it's going to help somebody tonight and tomorrow and whenever they listen to the replay, and everything that is trying to stop you from telling it, you still telling it, even in the midst of us bouncing back again. We pop right back where we left off.
Oh no, yeah, I'm telling you, because spiritual warfare is real, and it's talked about in the book as well. Primarily,
so, like, what was the hardest part for you to give up? What was the hardest part of your old identity in your becoming season? What was the hardest thing for you to let go of?
Attention. I can spit that out. Validation and attention, because in my old season, I was empty and I was seeking attention and love from, different places. And it's funny because people say, oh, well, only women who don't have a dad do that. And remember, I had my father until I was 21. Do you know what happens when a woman turns 21? That's really when you become a woman. So I lost my father right at the peak of the start of my adult life. So from the first 21 years, I was sheltered, I was spoiled. I grew up as an only child. I have older siblings, but we're all like 15, 16 years apart. I'm the baby. So I don't know what it's like to run around and say like, oh, I have a sister. Oh, she got a boyfriend. Let me talk about girl stuff. No one told me that. I had to just go and see about it. Yeah, figure it out. So, and it's no disrespect to my parents, God rest their soul, but they did their best with me. Like they were great to me. I just got a hold of the wrong stuff and decided to just disobey my parents and should have been in boarding school. But anyways, so attention I was getting from men and like guys and it's older men, younger men, whatever. I had to give that up because as a Christian, as a wife now, as a mother, I don't look for that. I don't want people looking at me. I want my husband to have eyes for me. I don't care about nobody else no more. Because what I was doing then, it wasn't glorifying God, if that makes sense. So the attention I was getting was not the right attention. It was, the hot girl, like Megan Thee Stallion. That was my mindset. Like, I'm going to be a video girl. Somebody going to discover me. I'm about to be back up there. And I talk about that too in the book. And I'm in college, it's hot girl summer. I was hot girl summer before Megan Thee Stallion. I'm just going to be real. I should have copyrighted that. I could have been sitting on $1 million right now because I was cute, had a little shape, Celena. Like,
couldn't tell you nothing.
What my cousins win. You couldn't tell me nothing. Okay. I just had it together. Like, was in New Orleans, like balling, shot calling. Like, I just want to be this rap girl. And I look back and I'm like, Nikki, you so stupid. I'm like, I look at some of my Facebook posts, my pictures. Like, you ever just had that moment where you like, oh, you so lame. I was so corny, Sunshine. Like, I was so corny, but I was
corny.
Well, no. Well, looking back, but at that time, I was like Beyonce, yeah. But looking back, I'm like, seeing it so corny. I'm like, that was so corny. Like, being like these other girls, and now it's like I'm different. Like, I don't associate with that type of lifestyle. I'm like, now I feel like, okay, now you Beyonce. But that attention from these men and just getting I ain't gonna can I be real? Can I be real?
Please.
And anything that I'm telling y'all, like I said, my husband knows all this. So before I got married and saved all that good stuff, yeah, I was getting bills paid. You know how you young and you cute. I put the sugar in sugar daddies. Like, I was doing it all, Celena. Like, I was never broke. Spoiler alert, I hope my uncles and them ain't watching, but sorry. I'ma just be real. Like, I was playing the game and the game was there. I was good at it. And I think I had to give up greed. I had to give up lust and sexual desire. I had to give up a lot, to get to where I'm at now. And I don't regret it. So if that answers your question, yeah, it was a lot of sin that I had to be comfortable with saying goodbye. I don't want this type of attention no more. I don't need the video glam. I don't need the camera in my face. I don't want the backup lifestyle. All that stuff that go on in Hollywood and stuff now. Imagine if I would have really popped off or been some type of dancer in the industry. I hear horror stories about backup dancers and how people don't get paid and they got to do all these rituals and witchcraft. And baby, don't even get me started on that.
Girl, all kinds of stuff.
All kind of stuff I feel like God saved me from. So no, I had to get it up.
Girl, well, who taught you the game like that?
Myself. Just being in college, you start, what they say, birds of a feather flock together. I started grouping up with some girls and hanging out, and you get exposed to stuff. So yeah, like the enemy, and this is in the book, the enemy plants seeds at an early age. He sees our future before we know it, just like God knows. The enemy attacks you because he knows, okay, in 10 years, she's going to be doing this. But if I plant that seed in her now and get her off track, I'm going to stop the plan. But guess what? I stopped the plan of the enemy because I got close with God. So there is no plan for him. Whatever he had going on for me to be a video hot girl in Hollywood and probably be somewhere dead on the street right now, drunk or drugged, or, hurt or something, or, into any type of adult, whatever I was trying to do, yeah, I could have been out there. But the plan of the enemy did not surpass.
Because it's
I
like
told you, Sunshine. Don't get me started.
Whenever you give in to those type of desires, I feel like you have to keep feeding them. So
yeah,
the greed that you're talking about, like the stuff that you was doing it on the smaller level, the sugar and sugar daddy, had you been over in California, Hollywood, or whatever, girl, you're right. There's no telling what you would have been, what level you would have been at that point. You would have been putting the sugar and the daddy in sugar daddy, because it grows. The more you feed it, the more it grows. That's the reason why we're in the situation that we're in right now, is because of greed. People that are already rich and have what
it's a deadly sin. It's a deadly sin. One of the 7 deadly sins.
And the things that kids are, the things that adults are doing to children, and the lust, like that blows my mind, because you have adults, you got the porn, and that still is not enough. You have to start preying on children, and then it just continues to grow.
Did you read my book?
No, girl. I can't wait to get it though.
Well, because some stuff you saying, you spoiling the book, not me.
Girl, because I got my own on my belly. Look, I got my own on my belly over here.
Like I said, the Lord knows the conversation before we do, but continue on, sis. I just thought I would just share that real quick.
Girl, them low down, dirty, nasty people, I tell you. But that's also my story, and I talked about it a little bit earlier at the 11 o'clock live. Is it's sad what you have to deal with and what you have to go through in order to live life. And some days you don't want to live life. Some days you're just exhausted. You're tired. You don't want to fight for that life anymore. But when you do, oh my God, you wake up and just have an attitude of gratitude. That's where I was this morning. I was so grateful, even though I'm over here looking for papers for the IRS because I'm trying to stay free. But I still woke up with an attitude of gratitude. And I just thank God for that. Like, I thank God. Amen. I went out with my kids last night. Well, they're my adult men now. And we had a really nice time. And I said, God, I just thank you for that, because I wasn't supposed to see that. 2015, they said I was going to die. And here I am talking to you, listening to your testimony, sharing my testimony. And I would not, I ain't going to say I wouldn't change it, because I would. But since I can't change it, I'm in the acceptance phase. And I was a victim that became a survivor who is now a conqueror. And I can tell my story without feeling angry. I can tell my story. Sometimes I can tell it without crying. Sometimes, depending on the day and how it is, the tears flow. But I can still tell it, and I'm still in a place where I can help other people, women, children, parents, whomever it is, be better. Stand in their truth sooner. Like, that's what I really want for people. Stand in their truth sooner. Please, so that you can be free. When you try to hide behind it, like now, how you're being so transparent and so honest, girl, that's when there's freedom. Can't nobody from your past come and try to tell your husband your current husband.
Because they ain't gonna tell my husband, because my husband know everything, and anything that happened back then, I'm gonna tell you, I did it. But I don't answer to that. Like, nobody can come to my face and say, oh yeah, I remember. And they may whisper it. I mean, we can't control what people say about us behind our back. But honestly, Sunshine, I have refined myself in so many ways. I don't even look like that girl. I don't even recognize myself. So I don't care. Like, ain't nothing nobody can say that's gonna make us break up. or that's gonna make him look at me strange, because I have been open and transparent. Everything that y'all hearing, he know. Now there may be some parts in the book where I do talk about, like, of course, like the death grief, and how I was really feeling about financial loss. So even when I talk about our marriage, and I had to ask him, "Are you okay?" When we revealing some of this, are you okay? I'm not trying to put you out like no bad person, but one thing about that chapter that you will find, I was accountable in what I did. I didn't put it out there like, let me tell y'all about this lowdown. No, some people be wanting that type of tea where it's like, ooh, oh, so-and-so put out all of that. Or, you heard what Beyonce said about Jay-Z and Lemonade. It's not a Lemonade moment. Well, hold on. There is a lemonade moment in that chapter. However, it goes from lemonade to like CC Winans, but I can't tell y'all how that happened. It was just the hand of God. But it did have a lemonade moment that I do talk about. And but I talk about it to help women who are married, whether they're newlyweds, whether you've been married 20 years. No marriage is perfect. No marriage. But you have to have God in the center of it. And we did not have that at first. And I show y'all that in the book, how if it starts off wrong and you're running from things that you ain't dealt with stuff, and you come bring it to a marriage, what you think gonna happen? I'm a single ladies. I'm a single ladies. You're gonna be single. You're gonna be single because you have not dealt with your stuff. And if he hasn't dealt with his stuff, and y'all come together and you put your suitcase with his, you open up hello, like, so yes, I am very open, honest, transparent, and accountable in this book, especially in that chapter, because I had to give that to God. And I'm so glad I was able to share and be vulnerable about this and about everything else that's in it too. Because when you hold stuff in for a while, it's bad. Like, yes, I talk about going to therapy, and I like how you was talking just now about what you did and your testimony and how you had to just go out with your sons and how you felt happy. I do reference that, like, what are things you can do to cope? Because I'm not going to trauma bond or trauma dump all my stuff in this book, and I don't tell you how to get through it,
Right.
Like, it ain't just a tell-all, yeah, I'm telling it, but I'm cornering how, okay, well, I went through this, like, job. I talk about getting fired from my first nursing job. I did not name drop the company because we have an agreement that I'm not to disclose or anything contractual, and I won't. But some people know who they are. But I talk about being bullied at work. And I talk about how, as Black women, we're stereotyped as the angry Black woman.
Definitely.
And I'm going to tell you right now, don't ever let no white woman or anybody take you out of your job. And I talk about that in the book. But I also talk about how I was in the wrong and how I took accountability. What happened in that moment that led to that? How did I respond to that? What type of grief was I in that moment? So I'm not just dumping out, this heifer got in my face and I did this and got fired. No. There's a story behind it. If that makes sense. There's workplace trauma.
Yeah. And the one thing that I've heard you say over and over that a lot of people don't take, and that's accountability. You have said, yes, this happened, but I also took accountability for my part in it. So that's one thing that if people could just learn, take accountability for the part that you played in the situation. That would just, it would be just, I think, change the whole scenario if people would just take accountability, each person, because no one can have any beef by themselves. You know what I mean? Like, it takes two. So, but everybody want to deflect and act like they ain't done nothing wrong.
No, you can't do that. Like, even in the chapters that were about death. Now, I know this is going to sound weird because you're like, well, how are you accountable when it comes to somebody dying? Once again, we can't control when God called you home. But I had accountability in both of those chapters with my mom and dad. I talk about how I wasn't there for my mom and how we had an argument days before. I talk about that because I want people to see that life is short. I want people to see, be accountable, because when that casket closes, and this might be the tissue part, I don't know. When that casket closes on your mom or your dad, there is nothing else that you can say. When you heard that last breath in that hospital and that machine is unplugged, and they tell you in 45 seconds your dad will be in heaven, there is nothing you can say in those 45 seconds. So the reason why I was accountable in those chapters was to say, if I wouldn't have canceled this dance event, my dad would have died and I wasn't there. But God allowed me to be there when he died. My mom passed in her sleep. I wasn't there. But he allowed my daughter not to be there because she was going to deal with that trauma more than me. I had to be accountable for that argument over some $40 that didn't mean crap looking back. And our relationship was somewhat toxic. I'm going to be honest. We didn't have the best relationship, my mom and I. It was getting better, but as she got sicker, women get stuck in their ways. As we get older, we get stubborn. You can't tell nobody nothing. You just want to be who you are. And she was in that mode where it was like, look, Tina, you want me to go to Pearl River? I'll go to Pearl River. I'll get you this daiquiri. You want me to go sit down and get out your face? I'll go sit down. You want me to go clean up or run to the store? She always had me running to the store doing errands. And it's small stuff like that I can't get back. You know how many times I passed Pearl River and I to this day I still cry because I'm not stopping to get her a fifth of gin. I'm gonna be honest. It's like that was her drink, and I would go get it, even though I wasn't supposed to. Looking back, I probably should have said mine, but she was set in her ways. But that was my mother. I would have crossed the ocean for her if she wanted it. I went and got it. And there are times where I'm just like, was that argument that serious? Those days before? Could I have canceled more dance events before that final one made me cancel? Could I have been in the hospital with my dad more? I took accountability, and I think that's what freed me, and that's what allowed me to accept that I can't blame myself no more for their death. And I did that for a long time. Blame myself for my mom's death. I remember, this part is not in the book, but I'll share it. The morning that she passed, I remember the first thing I had to do from this is from memory. I don't know if this really happened. It might have been the second thing I did. I had to go and try to find documents. If she had insurance, her medications, just all that you do when you're planning a funeral. And it was not even 24 hours later. And I remember one of my uncles, and I think my friend was there, and somebody else, like a neighbor, came in, and they were trying to analyze if I had closed the door on my mom, because my mom was on oxygen, and there was like this long 10-foot cord, and you're not supposed to close the door because, of course, and even as a nurse now, it could cut the circulation off, and like it could cut the oxygen off. And for years, Celena, I played that scene in my head. What happened when you walked out that door? Did you shut the door? Did you shut the door by accident and not realize you cut her life support off? And my friend was saying, like, that's so mean. Like, why would he say that to you? Like, why would he? I was like, no, I don't think he's saying I did it. I think he's just, he's grieving. So I had to hear certain comments that I knew weren't true, but I went into therapy, and I even told my therapist, I think I killed my mom. I blamed myself for 4 years, thinking, why didn't I just stay? Why did I have to go shopping? I was going shopping for school because I literally was supposed to start class, my second semester nursing school, the first time, because I had failed, which I'll get to that later in the book. But I was going shopping for school, and my cousin Charisma kept my daughter for me to go to Slidell, you know, on Fremo and get scrubs. And I was just having like a girls' day, getting my stuff together. And I kept replaying, like, why the hell did I just not go shopping the next day? Or maybe I could have just stayed home. Or why didn't I go wake her up before I left? Well, I didn't wake her up because she would sleep throughout the day. Like, that was normal for her to sleep late.
Mm-hmm.
And when
Mm-hmm.
you're sick with COPD, you sleep a lot because your body's compensating for breathing, and you don't really eat a lot. So it wasn't abnormal.
Right.
So, but for 4 years, I kept thinking, did I close that door on my mom? She would come to me in dreams, and I would try to wake up and apologize. And I was traumatized. And I talk about this too, how I couldn't sleep for 6 months. Like, I was scared to go to sleep, and how I was on medication. And like, y'all, and I'm telling, I just got to a point where I had to tell myself it wasn't your fault.
Right.
4 years is a long time to walk around and replay that day over and over and over and think. And I remember I had an anxiety attack when the ambulance was here. I was in my room, and I remember my aunt, who was like 84, my grandmother's sister, and my best friend went and found my medicine, and they had to give me anxiety pills because I was getting ready to pass out. Like, I was there, and I saw my mom laying lifeless. Well, she was peaceful, but I remember that image.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't go that deep in it in the book, but I'm just kind of giving you a heads up, like, disclaimer. There are some moments I talk about that are very, very not graphic, but just very real. Like, I give you a picture of what that scene was for me. And I'm not the only person that's probably dealt with that. I was there when my father passed. I watched him go. So that was 2 traumatic things. My grandmother passed before I got to her home, but you'll see in the book how we had a conversation about that the day before. So I felt like God was telling me what to tell her, and she passed away the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some traumatic things happen to me. And talking about it was hard, but not talking about it was harder.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna take a second. I'm gonna let you talk, because that was hard. Like, but I had to be honest and say I blame myself for that.
Wow.
I
That is
blame
a
myself
lot
for that.
to carry. That is a lot.
Every day I turned into my apartment complex, and for the first year, so I live on the right side of the stop sign. My mom and I used to live on the left side. Muscle memory, for like a year, I kept going the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
It was times where I would ride past and try to see who moved in, or, look outside. I don't do it no more. It would feel weird now to do that. But I want to say the first year, I kept circling that tree, looking at that balcony, because I just thought for some reason I would get a glimpse, or it would take me back for a minute. But yeah, I like what Ovison said, that there's freedom in sharing. It is.
There is
It's
freedom in
so
sharing.
much freedom in sharing it. A lot of what I'm telling y'all, I didn't even talk about that deep in therapy, because I think in therapy, I was just so numb. And I don't really think not saying my therapist wasn't good, because she was, but I don't think I really got to the root the first few years I was going. I think now I've kind of figured out what was really happening, because none of my therapists told me to sit down and stop running. I was only told how to compartmentalize your thoughts. I was told, deep breathing exercises, or, journaling. Like, not saying it's not good, but I was told some baby stuff. I wasn't taught how to go to God. And this is why when I say with therapy, find a faith-based therapist. And I'm not saying the ones that I had were wrong, But I didn't even realize that you can request Christian counseling, or you can request someone that's either a pastor or, of wise counsel. Like, I was just choosing what my insurance shows. And I talk about that in the book. I let people know how to walk through choosing therapy and what works for you. So, like I said, I'm not just dumping this on y'all. I'm telling y'all, okay, well, hey, if you're in a situation, this
This
is what
is
you need
what
to
you
do.
can do. Mm-hmm.
And like I said, those reflection questions actually came from therapy. I remember that journal I mentioned to you. Those questions, not all of them, but I want to say maybe about a third of those questions were questions that I had to do as a therapy exercise. So I'm
Okay.
giving them back to y'all.
And that's the best way, I think, to help someone is you share what you've been through, but in order to help them, you have to tell them the steps, what I did or what you can do,
Yeah.
or better what you did, because it's a personal experience based on, this is what I went through, these are the things I did, this is how I overcame. Versus just dumping. People could tell their testimony all day, but what really is beneficial is tell me how you got out of it. Tell me how you overcame it.
Tell me
and
how
you
you made it over.
because sometimes people try to convince you can't be helpful if you are still in the middle of it. And I disagree with that. Like,
let me tell you why I disagree. I'm still in the middle of it. And here I am talking and helping you. I'm dealing with stuff right now.
Right now.
And when you read the last chapter of the book, I actually reveal what's happening right now. But it's not a grief thing that's happening right now. I grieved something maybe about a week or two. And then my husband was like, all right, look, like, we're gonna be all right. But like I said, I can't say what it is, but I will say that right now in this season, I'm actually not running. I can't say what I'm doing right now. I can't say where I'm going, because like I said, it'll give away the end. But if you get from chapter 1 to 18, you'll be like, like, wait, she finally woke up. Or, she took control. She gave it to God. Oh, she tapped into her spiritual gift. Oh, she realized that the enemy was plotting after her all these years because she was supposed to be doing this as a vessel of the kingdom. Oh, she got it. I can't tell y'all, but you got to read it, because it acts. I'm revealing to you literally where I'm sitting at today. So when you made that comment about, oh, you can't tell your testimony if you're still in it. Yes, you can. I didn't submit the book till what's today, April 4th. I submitted the book 4 days ago. I just submitted the last copy. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm not writing no more. Whatever I said is what I said. I edited so much. I wanted to be so perfect, but the Lord was like, I gave you what to say. It is perfect because I kept you in perfect peace. My words and my truth and my grace is sufficient. You don't need to say no more.
Yeah, because girl, it's another book boiling. You got another book over there boiling. So
well, you know what? I honestly said, if I do write another book, it won't be about grief. It won't be about all this heavy stuff. It'll probably just be about like what I'm dealing with for like my son, because I do have a chapter about my son's diagnosis with autism, and I won't give that away. But of course, it is known that he has autism. That chapter was very hard for me to write, because as I'm writing chapters, I'm writing when I'm living it. So those were the hardest ones. Now, yes, the death stuff, the death chapters were hard, but it happened and I can't go back. But what you're writing about and going through this very second, that was the hardest. Because it's like, you don't want to say everything because it might get better. So I'm like, let me write this as a continuation. So I will say, I do want to do something eventually about autism or about mothers or, something. But, I'm going to let God give me that when it's time. I'm going to be obedient. I'm focused on this right now. But if I had to, I would say I would like to expand more on that chapter. because that is a whole life and view by itself when you have a special needs child. I do talk about it because I'm grieving it right now, but I had to move on because there's 18 other chapters that I had to talk about. So yeah.
And you did say something just about you can grieve different things. Like a lot of times people try to just kind of isolate it to death, but you can grieve the loss of people. You can grieve the loss of a job. You can grieve almost anything.
I was grieving family members and holidays because I was not able to go because I was working. Because I'm gonna be real, I was idolizing work. I was idolizing and being greedy when it came to money, which is a sin. And my husband had to call that out and tell me that, you need to just, chill out. Like, if everything's okay, you're just working. But he didn't know I was running, trying to suppress stuff. And I was grieving. Well, I could have went to Houston last year, but I had to work. And I was like, my family probably pissed off at me because every year I'm always working, or my husband is here, or we going through something at home, or the kids is acting crazy, or, I done lost this job and I got to go to this job. Or it was always something that kept me away from my family. And I talk about that because I'm looking at people online, I'm texting and I'm like, my cousins are having so much fun and I'm just here. And I never told my family, and they'll know now in the book how I really felt. And it wasn't because I was scared or was a bad thing. I just felt we're all grown. We have our own lives. And, a lot of what's in this book, people are going to be like, I didn't even know that. Like, I didn't even know she was going through that, or she never said that in a group chat, or she never put that on Facebook. No, what's funny about me, I'm a private person, to be honest. I was private throughout these whole years up until now. And it's like, from you to be private and we don't know, and it's like, boom, here you go. Ta-da! I'm telling you all my business. That's kind of how it is now.
Listen, I can relate to that.
But nobody knew.
And you're misunderstood for so many years. People don't know. And so because of the judgmental society that we're in, people try to judge you and call you out and say you're this or say you're that. And they don't know the real reason behind the behavior. And even when they find out, like some of them still treat you like, I don't know,
like you're alien. Like the marriage chapter, none of my friends know about that, but it's in the book.
They will now.
When my dad died, and like I said before, the event that I had to cancel and what was going on behind the scenes, even some of my family who were probably at the hospital, and I talk about the decisions that my mom and I had to make and these details, they don't know that. Now, when I was pregnant and dealing with the childhood love I was telling you about, and I went and had a little one night quickie with somebody, and people are still asking me, oh, well, I wonder who Rayleigh's father is. Oh, you didn't know for 10 years. Well, ta-da! Let's talk about it now.
Isn't that something? That just, I'm just.
I kept that private for myself.
All these details now just out there.
Ta-da! I gotta be funny because I'm telling you, like when I read my own book back, I was like, you ain't told nobody that. Like, I would read it and be like, dang, like I do remember that happened, or ooh, that was a lot, or okay, Nakia, maybe you shouldn't say that. That's too much. And not one time did the Lord say, take it out. I never heard God say, take it out. I may have to tweak some sentences and, just be more eloquent about some things. But I made the baby daddy story sound like a Lifetime movie. Hallmark, the little Christmas, like everything's happy. And it has a Hallmark feeling, but it also has a BET baby boy feeling slash.
All right now.
I don't know. I'm trying to give y'all, but I'll give it away. I basically just talk about my promiscuity, how I got pregnant, what happened, the consequences I had to face, and it wasn't my grief; it was his grief, if that makes sense. So each chapter is not always about my grief. I forgot to tell you that. This is about other people's grief that I had to see in real time, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching my childhood, love for 20,000 years. And, he's grieving like, okay, well, I thought we had this going on, or I thought we were going to have a family and I betrayed him. No, I cheated. And I talk about that and how I had to watch this man hurt.
You are funny, first of all. And
I'm very funny. I'm so funny, girl. You want to talk about me? I'm so funny, girl.
Girl, and you giving.
But it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny when I played him and I cheated. That was not funny.
No, that's not funny. But the way you tell some of this stuff is funny. And if I could take a picture of you, you know how they have those captions like, if what's done in the dark was a person, you would be, if what's done in the dark was a person, because you think somebody else tell your junk, but you the one over here like, okay, that's in the book.
No, y'all about to know.
That's in the book. You didn't know this about me, but that's in the book. And I'm like, girl, if
I deep down, I really hope he reads it. Like, I hope it frees him, because we don't talk, of course, now. We tried to be friends over the years, and my husband knows this. And, you can't be friends with somebody that you had that much trauma and that much attachment to. And I'm just saying, just in general, like, it's not a good idea. Like, I tried because I'm a nice person and I wanted forgiveness from that person. And I wanted to say, hey, look, I'm sorry. And of course he forgave me. But then, years later, things would trigger this person. It would trigger me. And, he would say, oh, well, she's supposed to be my child. And I'm like, well, like, it's awkward. So I got tired of being blamed for that. Or I got tired of feeling like, well, dang, like, okay, just don't mind a mistake in my face. But once you go to God and he refines you and he's forgiving you, then situations like that don't really matter. I moved on from it, and that's why I was okay with writing about it, because I'm like, what he gonna do? Call me and say, why you lie like that? I ain't lie about nothing. Mm-hmm. We thought I conceived a baby with you, and you know how conception calendars work. You can do something in a quick little window.
Change everything.
So people in town whispering like, she don't know who her baby daddy is. Well, hell, do you know? Because the calendar says it was this day, but I was 22. It's like, cut me a break. I was 22 and dumb. So if I was my age now, then y'all can be like, yeah, she's just trifling. But okay, I had a trifling moment. I had a child out of wedlock. It wasn't planned. Yeah. So, but the Lord still sought to give me purpose, even though I messed up. Even though I messed up 13 years ago.
Come on, girl.
He still had a story for me. Mm-hmm. I was a single parent for 5 years until I met my husband. My husband met my daughter when she was 4.5. She'll be 11 next month. That's her dad. So it's like, I thought the story that I was going through was what was written. Yeah, it's in a book, but that's not the story. The Lord said, I'm going to give you a man that's going to father her. Even though he had nothing to do with the biological concept, I'm going to give you a man that's going to support her and that's going to protect her. Yes. And that's what he did. I didn't do that. God did that. Girl, don't get me started.
Girl, what are you talking about?
We've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes. Like, don't get me started.
Yes, we are in this. I wanted to ask the audience. I know people are kind of popping in and popping out, but you were talking about the textbook doesn't talk about God in the healing process. And I want to ask the people that are still here that if you could shake off one thing today to make room for your purpose, what would that be? So you've been through some things and now you're in you're going into your healing moment, but you need to shake off some stuff. Because Nakia talks about all the stuff she had to shake off and let go. And honey, that was like, they talk about peeling off the onion, all the layers, honey. She's like, she was just snatching that stuff off, and it was painful. And it is painful to just start ripping it all off. But if anyone is still here and would like to put that in the comments, like what did you shake off? I'm trying to think of what I need to shake off. I'm still in the
fear.
Yeah. Fear.
The Lord told me to tell you fear because you have a gift and you've been sitting on it too long, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Fear.
Yeah. Fear would be a good one.
And shyness, walk in your authority and your boldness.
Oh, look, my sister just put this. Go ahead on, Shonda.
Oh, look, see, now I didn't see that comment. I'm gonna be that comment just popped up after I said that, so she know you more than I do. So what that tell you?
Girl, that's my sister. She might not be talking about me. You talking about
me? Maybe talk about her, but
no, it might be talking about a little bit of both of us. But fear would definitely be one of them, and it's kind of like, you know, you ask yourself the question, like, do I trust myself? Because you don't want to make that wrong decision, even though life is all about decisions and stepping out on faith and things like that. You get a certain age, you're like, Lord, I done been dumb long enough, and I done made moves in self long enough, and I don't want to do that now. So I want to be sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So that does hold you back sometimes from just taking that leap of faith. And then when you see other people, like God give you something, and then you sit on it, like you're saying, because of the fear, and someone else does it. And it's like, you have to get beyond that imposter syndrome, because you know, and God know that you was already supposed to do it. So it doesn't matter who did it before.
Girl, what?
Who's gonna do it after is your assignment, and it's still up to you to complete it from beginning to end.
Do you know how many people had wrote a book the last year or two, and I was like, now why I can't do that? Or, you know, it'll fuel you to do it, because you like, well, they can do it, I can do it. But at the same time, you like, well, why? I felt like that. And then I had to get out of that, get out the boat, Peter. I talk about that story. I can't tell you. It's in the Bible, but I talk about the story about Peter getting out the boat, walking on water. So there's some biblical stuff in here.
Okay.
And I know my pastor was on here. I know Overton was on here earlier. I don't know if he's still on here, but he gonna be proud of me because I was listening on them Sundays. I got some quotes in there that came from our prayer meetings on Tuesdays, and he gonna be tickled pink when he read this, because baby, it's some stuff in here. Because like I said, they left the God out of the textbook.
Yeah, of course
they left it out. And you know, society, they don't want God in nothing. They don't want him in school. They don't want him nowhere. He in this book. Can't nobody tell me I can't put him in there, because I own the copyright and I published it. So we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it.
It's in this textbook.
I know you're releasing it on the 11th. So that's the pre-sale. When should we expect to have it?
So, spoiler alert, I was going to wait. So actually, it is live right now, the ebook. It is. You can pre-order it now, and it will directly go to you on the 11th at 12 o'clock a.m. So you can pay for it now. It'll be in your cart, and the actual physical paperback, if you want a copy of that, you can order that April 11th, and then I can either deliver it to you if you're local, or it'll ship from Amazon to you.
So what you're saying, just so I understand, you can get a digital copy right away on the 11th. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Copy. Okay, so bring my copy, since you're coming for her in New Orleans.
I will sign it. Yes.
Copy on the 25th.
Yes.
I'm gonna make sure I get me an electronic copy.
Yes, I did. So I did share before we went live. If you go on my Facebook, or anybody can go on there and click the Amazon link. You can click the pre-order right off of my page. So it's on Amazon right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
because some people
okay.
like the ebook Kindle thing. Like if you want to just do like your Amazon tablet or Kindle, I have an ebook version. But a lot of people like to read books paperback. So that would be April 11th. I can't push that before that because that's when it's scheduled to go out.
Okay, so my next question, because I know like the man that was here this morning, he had two
Mm-hmm.
links. He had a link to get it directly from him, which he gets more profit that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
if you get it from Amazon, of course, you get less profit because they take so much.
Yeah.
So if
I
I
do.
want
So I do have
to go
that.
through Amazon because I want the
Yeah.
electronic copy because I want to be done read it by the time I see you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I do want to purchase a hard copy from you. Are we
Yeah.
able to do that too?
Yeah, so I do have a website. I have a big cartel link that's set up for pre-orders, quote unquote. So that would be for the paperback. So that money would go, of course, through the Square account. It directly deposits to me 100%. So I will be able to keep that, like you said, versus Amazon, where there's a royalty percentage, math type of thing. So yeah, I can tag that as well. I
So
use the Amazon
can
one
you tell
today.
me, can you give it to me now so I can put it up here? What is that?
Yeah. Do I need to type it in the comments or just say it out loud?
Oh, you can type it if it's easy for you. I was gonna type it because I'm sitting at a computer, but you can type it if you're able to.
Okay. I'm afraid I don't want to type because I'm
Ooh. I should have went on her Facebook page and grabbed it. Let me see if I could do that. She said it's on Facebook. So let's see. Well, while she's coming back, I'm gonna go to commercial and then we'll be right back while she's logging back in. Don't y'all go nowhere. We almost done. If you don't hung this long, go ahead on and hang on in here with Sunshine. We'll be back in just a minute. Hang tight, my sunshine. Conversations with Celena. We'll be right back. Hey, sunshine.
I'm here. I am not that technical savvy, so I'm gonna just have to shout it out loud.
Okay, let me see. I came over here to your page real quick. I said I should have just did that to see if I could see it on your page.
Yeah, well, yeah, the big cartel link is on there too. I might have pinned it. If not, you may have to scroll. I know I shared it a week and a half ago or so. But that's like it's the Nakia C. Williamson big cartel.
Okay, so I see Amazon. Let me keep scrolling.
Yeah, and then you'll see a big cartel website link where it talks about the class and stuff, which I postponed the class. I postponed the class that was supposed to be on Saturday. I got hurt. So I'm about to be doing physical therapy and, resetting myself. So I'm going to postpone the class just to get my back right. And then I'll let you know when that's going to be. That'll be sometime later.
Okay, let me see.
So yeah, that whole big cartel link is how you can order your paperback. Now the paperback is $20, because that includes shipping and stuff like that, and then the royalty percentage. And I can either ship it to you or I can deliver it to you, depending on where you're at.
Okay, well, I want mine live and in person in my hand.
Okay.
So I will go order my copy from Big Cartel.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm so excited. It won't hit me until I start wrapping them. That's when it'll hit me. Like once I start wrapping these books, yeah, because they'll be here Tuesday, hopefully. So, yeah.
So you get what's Tuesday's date?
Tuesday is the 7th. So that's when you get like your author copies, well, you'll know because when your book comes out, I'll walk you through this. So you can order author copies, like for your family, or if you want to do like a proof of your book before you actually hand it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I will have the physical copy in my hand Tuesday.
Okay, well, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome.
So that's going to be exciting.
Ooh, yes, I'm excited for you. And then when are you going to do your book signing?
I am thinking of doing it sometime. See, May is a busy month with graduations. So I'm thinking probably closer. I ain't gonna lie to you. I haven't thought about an actual date. I don't know. Laura's been telling me June-ish. So I'm gonna look at a date and I'm gonna definitely let you know. It's gonna have to be a weekend. I know people work, so I gotta play around with some dates. I have a location in mind. It'll be Picayune, and then I may do another one in Slidell. But I changed my birthday. I guess because after writing a book this deep and heavy, I'm tired.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do this big book signing on my birthday. I was going to have cake. We were going to play a game. We were going to do the dance class. I was going to have like a photographer. Like I had it was going to be so great. And then the Lord was like, girl, sit down. But like the whole book is about you needing to sit down. So just sit down.
Girl,
So
I'm down because you still trying to
the
be
Lord
a
said,
hot
sit down.
girl.
I was trying to be the hot Christian girl promote the book, but I just felt the Lord was like, sit down, because I was still like, I was mentally tired. I'm physically tired. I still got to do promo for the book. So I got to be running. I have another podcast next week. I have a college book signing that I'm trying to do for my school. So I got some stuff I'm doing. So I'm tired. So I don't want a big birthday. This is my present. Is giving the world my story. I don't want nothing else right now. I'll be cool with dinner Saturday and going home. I'm tired.
Yeah.
So I will, like I said, I will. So if you click on the big cartel, just ignore the class, but the book is right there.
Yeah, you say I'm always doing it big, and the Lord say,
I'm
girl,
tired.
sit down. You
This
do get exhausted. That's pouring out a whole lot.
This is big enough. This was a big project, one of the biggest things I've done in my whole life besides give birth. I'm tired. I told you I was gonna make you laugh.
You need to get you some rest, and so we are so excited about you having the book, and all that other stuff. It can come later. If it's meant, it'll come later.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate your support. I'm so excited.
Girl, listen, you motivate me, and like
I'm telling you,
wanted to say something a young man said this morning. I was gonna say to you, I lost my thought. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm always forgetting. Guess what? He helping me with my memory. If I don't spit it out quickly, it just be gone. But no, it is a blessing for you to have put the time in to write this book, because I have a book around here that I was just one of the it was like the anthology type book, where you have a chapter. Girl, I found myself all on the floor crying, just trying to write one page. So I could imagine 18 chapters later.
Yeah.
Exhausting, that would be, but just the obedience, doing what God had called you to do and instructed you to do so that you could help the world. And it's going from not telling any of your story to just putting it out there. I mean, that's painful. Just putting it out all at once. And it's something about seeing it in writing. Like, I think that's why it's so much easier for me to talk about it. Like, I could tell it, but seeing it written on your computer,
it's different. It's different.
It is so different. And if you
when I did the last official scroll and I was just scrolling, I was like, whoa. I'm like, this is it.
This is it. And it is amazing. We can tell already before I even put my hands on it.
It's good.
Because
even the packaging, even how I'm gonna package it is cute. Like, it's good.
Okay,
it's good.
I believe it too. I can't wait to see it. You're gonna have to tell us a little bit about it in New Orleans.
Yeah, definitely. I sure will. I'll try to bring some copies if anybody's interested, or just shake a hand. I'll bring you your copy. So yeah, I'm excited to see you in 2 weeks.
And sign my copy.
Yeah,
We'll
girl.
have our own mini. We'll have a mini I owe her session.
And then
time.
once I rest up and and you get ready for your book, I'll coach you through yours.
Okay.
Let me just get some rest first.
I did want to say, and I'm not sure if I did say this earlier, but y'all please sign up to come and celebrate my sister that's in the chat. She's decorating for her sister. And like I said, it's just gonna be small and intimate. We're planning a retreat for 2027. I'm
Nice.
gonna have to get with the retreat planners so that we can pull this off somewhere. It may be in Mississippi because it's easier for people to get there. So yeah, so I'm thinking about doing it there. This lady gave me a place over there, so I'm gonna check into that, and I'm just excited about what is happening in our lives and the people that we're being connected with. You're a lot younger than me, but I'm so excited for things
I'm
that you're
35 next week, girl.
I'm 54.
I made it, girl. I'm proud of my age. Okay.
I ain't worried about the gray hair trying to tell on me. That's trying to tell. The rest of it still kind of okay, but the hair just really trying to tell on me. Like we getting older. We ain't gonna talk about all this other stuff going on, but we will talk about the C. The person can see trying to tell on me. But yeah, no,
okay.
I'm just thankful. Jalicia's event was
my
amazing.
sister texted me. Oh yes, girl, we need to do that once a month. I wish we could, but I know she got a lot to plan because it's an every year thing. But I'm still on the flow in the spirit on that.
Yeah, it was.
I can't wait.
She does so good on those things. It is excellent. And I'm just so thankful that I was able to come and make it. And I know y'all she just say she's so thankful so much, but I am. Like, I'm just so grateful, so thankful for everything. And I woke up this morning just telling God, thank you for this, thank you for that, thank you. I don't think I asked for nothing today. It was all just giving thanks for another day, giving thanks for calm, just all of it.
Amen. Now I'm gonna keep my promise.
Having people like my calendar is booked through August, I think. And
girl, that's God. I can't wait to go on that level.
Not happen. And I don't know if this year was the year I wanted to throw in the towel more so. I don't think so. I don't think so. But I did want to just be like, I'm done. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I said, but you know what, God? I will continue if that's what I'm supposed to do. But one thing I know, I'm for real conversation with Celena on camera and off camera.
Yeah.
And
I love this. I love what you're doing. I love it.
Thank you, girl. Thank you.
I love it.
So I got at least a couple questions to ask you. It's all straight conversation style, but when I get to the end, I have to ask you.
Okay.
If you could tell your younger self something, what would you tell little Nikia?
I would tell her that pain will bring you purpose. I would tell her that you're beautiful, you're wonderful, and fearfully made. And never let someone validate you. Yeah, I would tell her that. That's a good question.
So many young girls need that. So many young girls need that right there. Because I think that's how we get thrown off early on, is with that validation thing, that feeling the need to be accepted by other people. And why that is, I don't know, but a lot of people suffer from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not just young, they bring it right on over to their adulthood and still find themselves seeking validation. And I'm gonna raise my hand because I know I was looking for people to love me and people to accept me just how I was. And that was not the case. It didn't happen. Thank God we ain't there no more.
No. That was ratchet.
Real ratchet. I have to go back and watch the replay. Yes, Miss
Please
Elizabeth.
do. Yeah. You're going to need to put it in Bluetooth in your car. Get your coffee. Just drive. Baby, you're going to cry. All that. Watch the replay.
Yes, Miss Elizabeth came on and she was my guest because she also experienced a lot of loss. And so she talked about grief as well.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to go find hers and share it with you. So
yeah, share it with me.
I will definitely do that. And then my last question is, if you could tell the audience, if you can't take anything else away from this, I want you to take this one thing. If you can't remember nothing else, remember this.
God. Remember who's the author of your faith and who writes your story, God. And perseverance, faith. Knowing that anything that you're going through, no matter how it looks, it may not make sense to you now, but there's pain beyond that purpose. It's beauty in that pain. Take away God. I just want people to get closer to God after they read this.
Oh, Sister Celena, you are the best.
Thank you.
Y'all are too. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Nakia, for coming and telling your story.
I had so much fun.
It is.
Now I gotta go. Now I gotta go hide for the next couple of days. I done told y'all my business.
It's time to come on out now. You done told it. And it's
I done told
it. It's okay. And you shared it with the people that was most important before you shared it with the world. And I did the same thing with my kids. Like I told them.
My daughter sees stuff.
Yeah, I told them, and I think they were at an age where they were able to understand. And it wasn't because I planned it like that. It really just fell out of my mouth whenever I was in the hospital. And that was one situation that fell out of my mouth. And so I said, well, Lord, I guess you kind of opened that door or window in order for me to be able to start talking about it to at least my older son. And my younger one, sometimes he's like, Mama, I don't want to, I know. He'll say he knows, but he really doesn't know because he don't really want to hear it like that. But he knows enough that no one can come and say, your mama did this, because it's like, okay, I know. So I understand that whole concept of sharing it with your kids and stuff before you share it with the rest of the world. Amen. I didn't have no husband to okay it with, so like
but he's on the way. He's on the way. He's on. I can't sing, girl. I'm a dancer, but he's on the way. Celena, I'ma tell you, he's okay. Celena, your husband's on the way. Yeah. He's on the way. That's a good church song, baby. I grew up Church of God in Christ.
Mr. Sunshine. What's Mr. Sunshine at?
Right. Ain't no sunshine. Yes, it is. When he's home. Yes, it is.
Girl, yes, indeed.
That's another conversation when I see you on Saturday. I ain't gonna do all that, but he on the way. That's my gospel song for you.
Okay, girl. Okay. Y'all be sure to go register because y'all see we're gonna have a comedian in the house in New Orleans. So.
That's my hidden talent.
Go get your body well so you can dance for us, do a praise dance.
No, I am. I'm about to go get my belly well. It's a Saturday night. It's about to rain, or it's starting to rain. And it's amazing how I'm not at the club. I'm not going out doing no foolishness. I'm finna go to McDonald's and get a shake. And I'm going home. That's how the Lord can change on a Saturday night. I got children and a husband in Slidell, and I'm finna go get a shake and go sit down because I'm tired, remember?
Well, you about to go get some rest.
Yes.
So
yes.
Ready to rock and roll.
Yes. And happy Easter to you in the morning, girl.
Yes. And so be sure to share the flyer for the event. And I'm going to share the link for, let me put that there. I'm going to share the link for the book I'm gonna pre-order
Yes.
mine.
And I have your flyer already sent to me, and I'll send that too. I got to charge my phone.
Okay. And be sure to bring a book so that we can have one
Yeah.
as a giveaway.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be cute. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, we will do that.
Fun. I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
Y'all go share a smile and spread some sunshine. Thank you so much, Nakia. This was awesome. You hang tight. Don't hang up.
I love you. Okay.
Don't hang up. All right, bye.
I won't.